Good morning, Cancer. Welcome to your Cancer Tarot Diary for Rocktober 2nd, 2024. I hope you're doing well today. It's beginning to look a lot like Halloween. How are the decorations in your neighborhood looking? I went by somebody's house last night and they didn't spare any time. It's all decked out. So what we're going to be doing here today, Cancer, is a tarot reading for you, doing a Celtic cross. We're going to be looking at sort of more of a soul journey, the day in, day out. There will be a focus on career, there will be a focus on love, but that will not be the main focus. The main focus will be you. So what I'm seeing here for you, Cancer, we start you out here at the Princess of Pentacles. If you saw yesterday's reading, I mentioned that this card has been showing up a lot for the past 2 weeks. Something that really strikes me about this card is sort of, being shielded and being hidden behind the shield in the way, like the one hand is kind of guarding. It's kind of like when people cross their arms, it's a body language that says that they're kind of trying to protect themselves, that they're not actually too open. Princess of Pentacles is also the youngest in that royalty suit of the pentacle. So it's like looking out at the journey, but not really starting the journey. Having something to offer, but not really, it's almost like an Ace of Pentacles in royalty. So I'm curious if there's something you're afraid to start. And what, you know what I mean? Because this has been showing up for a couple weeks now, usually over in more of the environment section and attitude. So I'm curious if there's something you're afraid to start, or if there's a vulnerability that is afraid to be expressed in some kind of way. But we get, as your challenge, is the Death card. So whatever this reticence is, whatever this, arms being, that there's reticence with that. There's also a lot of planning going on in this card. And what I wonder is if there's like an analysis, the paralysis of analysis. If I do this, then what? If I take that, then what? If I express this, then what? And what we get challenging that on a soul level is the Death card. So I think you're going to be coming out of that child of the great transformers. Yesterday too, we had, or a couple days ago, we had a Four of Pentacles. Nothing is given, nothing is gained. And it's fine if, you're at the beginning of the journey not going out. It's just like when you plant the seed, it stays a seed for a while, but enough of the nutrients from the universe come to the seed that eventually it sends out a shoot. So I think what I see happening here is perhaps you could be sending out a shoot here soon. Certainly something coming on an intuitive soul level, sort of to move out of the shell. I understand, because what we have below you is the Five of Cups, Lord of Loss of Pleasure. I'm curious about the past, and I'm curious if there have been things in the past that haven't worked out, if there's something kind of in the mental space sort of keeping you from wanting to try again. Or sometimes when things don't work out, we can ruminate over it so much that eventually it kind of develops a mind of its own, you know what I mean, without our permission, even though we've been feeding it. So I'm curious, what negative stuff have you been feeding? What fears have you been feeding? But we get on this, what's behind you is a Ten of Wands, Lord of Oppression. So whatever this Five of Cups is, whatever this reticence could be, whatever the past could be, I sense that you are really ready to put it down and just be done with it. Ten of Wands too, again, if there's anything making you hesitate from taking the first step, I think you're really ready. You know, if that was a wound from the past, if you've tried something a few times and it didn't work out, you know, it's okay to try again. You can put down whatever didn't happen in the past and use that as a stepping block to move forward in the future. So many people that we see succeed, you know, they failed many, many times, and none of those failures were failures. It's kind of like when you were a kid, maybe, and you wanted to go somewhere where you had to dress fancy and you button up your shirt, but the collar is like all messed up. So your mom says, why don't you straighten out your collar? It's like, oh, okay. And then it's like, why don't you tuck the shirt in? Okay. You know, did you comb your hair? Yes. I mean, you're still going to the event. You're still going to look really snazzy, but on the way there, and you got everything you need, but on the way there's always something a little bit bigger checking you, being like, did you do this? Did you get it that way? Did you get this? That way, when you do get there, you'll be going in style. But I see crowning you as the Five of Swords, Lord of Defeat. Now, I'm not going to look at the traditional Rider-Waite, and I'm actually not going to take the traditional Rider-Waite with this. Yesterday we had a Three of Swords, and it occurred to me after the reading that the way in this deck the Three of Swords shows up is it's two crossed, and then, or there's two leaning in like this, but there's one down the middle. Positive, negative, but everything is both. And if there's an idea that we're going to somehow get rid of positive and negative, if we could just live in a world where it's all positive and the negative never shows up, that can't happen. The only way you can do that is by accepting that, yes, there is actually negative in the world, just as equally as positive. You can't circumnavigate that. It's when you come to a full acceptance of it that you actually wind up being the fifth sword here in the middle. And what I'm going to take this is whatever conflict has been going on for you, whatever, you know, good, bad, right, wrong, should have been this way, I thought this way, there's always going to be two sides to everything. And the best thing to do is just to get rid of, because swords are the thoughts, to get rid of thinking, you know, good, bad, right, wrong, and just focus on being the sword in the middle that sees both sides. So then you can kind of transmute these two off, and what you'd wind up getting is an Ace of Swords to move forward, which I think is what's going to happen here, because then we get you to the Nine of Wands. This is the wounded warrior, and this is kind of why I'm talking a lot about things that perhaps didn't work out in the past, or things that you wanted to have happen and maybe, you know, has caused a little bit of reticence, a little bit of, you know, on a soul level, is this ever going to work out? What I'm sensing here, though, because even like this, with all these chaotic wands, you still have the one in the middle. And that's the thing about the Nine of Wands, even in the traditional Rider-Waite, the person is still standing. And again, maybe all of those other wands were getting the shirt collar, getting the shirt tucked in, you know, getting the shoes to match, you know, looking in front of the mirror, getting the hair combed. It's like, geez, all of this, and I'm not even at the party yet. Because, you know, personally, I'm someone who just likes to throw shit on and go. Sometimes to my own detriment. So if it has been 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, I don't want to say take it in stride, but I am saying that is just how things are. And it's not working against anything. It's actually the universe, the mother, kind of getting us to perfection, to crystallize our vision before we go forward. And that's what we get here with the Temperance card. This one's been showing up quite a bit. So clearly there are some things that have needed to be reconciled. And as far as Five of Swords, you know, depending how long you've lived in life, there's always going to be something to come up. That's the other thing. Expect that. Expect, that the negative aspect of life will never leave. Expect that there's always more healing to be done. It doesn't really matter how much you know, how wise you become, how far you get. There will always be something to check that. You know what I mean? And that's not bad. That's just, again, did you get your shirt collar put out correctly? Did you tie your tie correctly? So it can work in your favor if we quit viewing it as something to get rid of. That's how we transmute the negative into the positive. What we get in your environment then is we get a Queen of Wands. And this came out in the reverse, but I'm not taking reversals today. Actually, I am going to take reversals today, because this is the only one that came out in reverse, so perhaps it needs to tell us something. Upright, this is like the party. I'm going to the party, the networking. I can get it all done. Reverse, though. Give me a moment, please. I keep thinking of the black cat that's on the Rider-Waite one. And here she has the lion. Which makes me think of the Strength card, which is right above this one, by the way. Fortitude. So this is hopes and fears. So in your environment, I think what it is you're taking, the cat can represent the shadow and the strength. This could be kind of the lower self, taming the beast. So there might be some time today, temperance. You're just sort of taming that beast. Coming to a full acceptance that there's always going to be the positive, the negative swords. Coming to the acceptance, because sometimes it's like, God, why is everything such a struggle? And it's like, especially when you get into the thing of manifesting. Yes, the universe will bring it to you, but yes, the universe isn't an idiot. It wants us to be in the proper, sometimes the things I'm asking, I have to honestly say, well, if it plopped down right in front of me, would I even know what to do with it? It doesn't mean I'm not going to get it. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But what it does mean is sometimes you got to prepare yourself. So before you move out, hopes and fears, fortitude with this strength. And again, this guy doesn't try to make the lion not the lion, just knows how to make the lion work for it. Same with this Five of Swords, Ten of Wands, all of these other cards that I'm seeing over here. So there could be a little bit of how can I get the shadow side to work for me rather than come up against me. Because yesterday what we had in Hopes and Fears was the Tower by a Seven of Pentacles. And when I drew a clarifier for that Tower, we got Five of Wands. That's a card of conflict. In a reading that was otherwise going in a very upward trajectory. So it could be you keep having certain things just keep coming up, reminding you of the past. And what I'm asking you is how can you make that work into your favor? What we get here then at the outcome is the Hanged Man. Spirit of the mighty waters. So I think today is a day of alchemy. I think today is going to be a wonderful day to, like I've said pretty much this whole reading, to sort of, get those energies moving in the direction you want. The other thing about the Hanged Man, seeing things right from a different perspective, but the Hanged Man still is going to be taking action. The Death card is still a card of action. So whatever it is, it keeps the Princess of Pentacles from taking that first step and becoming a knight. Or maybe you're being a knight, but you keep, again, you're taking the steps forward, because I've seen a lot of Seven of Pentacles in the reading, which the person planted the seeds and is looking like, where is it? It's that where is it part to get rid of. So how can you look at things from a different perspective? Because there's nothing, Shakespeare, nothing is good or bad, but thinking make it so. I've had a lot of negative things that at the moment seemed negative, but over time, what I learned from it, it was actually the best thing that could have happened to me. So this also calls for me to get into a mind of non-judgment, to a mind of non-timeline, to a mind of non-deadline. It's got to happen by here, and if it doesn't happen by here, and if it doesn't look just like this, well then, blah. You know, you do want to be specific with the universe, but you also just want to like keep things open, because the other thing to remember is the universe is rich. It's very, very wealthy. It's wealthier than anything. So, and that's on all levels of wealth. We're not just talking about money, though the universe is rich with money too. The universe has so much money. Point being, though, sometimes when I'm saying directly what I want, I have to do so with an understanding I might be selling myself short. And what can happen is I get so pointed into that desire that anything not that desire, well, this can't be it because it's not exactly what I said. And anytime the universe has delivered on a desire, I didn't even really, you know, I think I always want the sky to open up and a hand to come down and be like, here's your desire. And it's like, it's more like way later, I'm cleaning my apartment or whatever. I find my little box where I put those sorts of desires. And I find, oh wow, they all came true, but they came true on a day in, day out basis. There wasn't a big boom, there wasn't a burning bush, and it was a lot smoother and gentler than my mind said when I was writing it down, this is what it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? How can you be a little bit more smooth and gentle? Because I have a sense, especially with this Five of Swords at the top, there's not smooth and gentle, and perhaps that is what is keeping the Page of Pentacles from actually moving forward. But again, with the Death card over that, transmuting that energy, the pain from the past, to be the new for the future. Because I'm also sensing too, with that Seven of Pentacles coming up, because it's come up a lot. I think if you have been putting in effort, Cancer, you're kind of tired of that rigmarole of, you know, I'm doing it nothing. I'm doing it nothing. When's it? I mean, that's a treadmill. That's a treadmill. I used to, like, when I was a lot younger, I'd go party every night. And I had a lot of fun. And then, you know, you wake up in the morning hungover, so I'm drinking a whole lot of coffee, eating shitty diner food. And when I'm young, you can do that. I'm not as young as I used to be. But as I aged and got out of that, I'm like, it was fun at the time, but to look at it now, it's like, God, that's hell, because I'm just constantly doing this all the time. There's no... So this guy is looking, especially with the spirit of the mighty waters. And for some reason, I was thinking ether. Just think of air, how smooth that is. Just think of water, how smooth that is. Right, here it is in career. Seven of Pentacles, success unfulfilled. Seeds are planted doesn't mean they're not going to grow. But how are you doing psychically? How are you doing emotionally with it? Are you looking out there and just not really seeing anything you want? That could be it too. I'm going to draw another card for that Seven of Pentacles in the career sector. Princess of Wands, again, beginning of the suit of fire. I just heard Princess of Wands, that's fire, so whatever has grown from the Seven Pentacles, just take it and burn it down. And I don't mean, you know, upend your efforts, but what I do mean is, because the guy in the traditional, he's watching that bush, it's like, why don't you just set it on fire? Then you'll quit thinking about it. That fire could be the emotions, the thoughts, the, you know, I used to, when I'd get all in my head, I had someone say to me, you know, Brian, is your head on fire? You know what I'm saying? So put that fire out. Whatever's, because you know, money is a wonderful servant, but it's a terrible master. And when I place that above all else, oh, that is hell. But when it, you know, I get my mind up here and keep the money low to the ground, it works for me. The pentacle should be working for me. So don't be controlled by those pentacles. Also, this could just also talk about, you've got a passion, you've got a burning desire, just like this Princess of Pentacles in the center. Only the thing is with this one, she'll step out. And she's not afraid to make mistakes. The Pentacles, they're you think Earth, it's very practical, it's very yes, no, did I dot the T's, or did I cross the T's, dot the I's? She don't really care if you don't cross the T's, dot the I's, we're just doing the thing. So, throw yourself out there. But we're getting relationship-wise, I got another Cancer right here, Lord of the Triumph of Light. I think you're looking for reconciliation. Probably within yourself. It has to happen within yourself before anyone else could come into the picture. But what I do see here is a fire sign. Forgive me, but I'm not sure the zodiac sign for Temperance. If you know, let it down in the comments. We have two fire signs here. Queen of Wands reversed, Strength card. Hangman, I'm not really sure. I'd want to say Gemini, but I'm not quite positive. Though I do know Death is Scorpio. So perhaps there's another water sign coming in to the picture. Another thing about the 69, again, we talk about, magnetism, polarity, the yin and yang. This, the symbol of Cancer is understanding that. Like, that's in the power, is to understand that. So the Five of Swords, what can you reconcile to be this one sword moving forward as far as relationships go? What can you do for that within yourself? And once you do that within yourself, it's amazing how things will just kind of magically work out without us putting too much effort into it. Also, if you are looking to date, if you are looking to get in a relationship, where are you going to manifest that? Because again, with this princess, there's that reticence. And it's like, well, if you do want something, throw yourself out there. Don't expect a return. Don't think if you meet the first person, they're going to save your life and you're ready to settle down. But what could you be doing to be more social? What could you be doing to kind of promote yourself? Other thing though with that promote yourself thing is not a will you take me type deal. It's where do you show up in life that you shine? As I stated earlier, I used to go to the club a lot. I used to drink a lot. Okay, well, I'm a little bit older, so I'm not going to be going there to shine. You know what I mean? I might go to a museum or something. Not that I go to a museum to pick people up. It's just, you get what I'm saying. Where do your interests lie at this time? Because if you were going to meet somebody, if a chance was going to occur, you'd want it to be in one of those spaces rather than, a bar, and if you're at that time of your life, that's great too. I did that for many years, but you know what I'm saying. It's just where you're going to be going to meet people that have a common interest with you, that actually see you for you. The other thing is I used to be an actor and I really thrived at that. And I met a lot of people through that and made a lot of connections. And it's interesting because I've also had shitty jobs that I didn't want to work at, and I met a lot of people through those. But the people I met at the shitty job, they didn't really see me the same way the people who met me on stage would see me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because the stage I really shined, so it was a totally different interpretation than the shitty job where none of us really wanted to be there. So that's the kind of energy that went in, So where do you shine? Seek those spaces out. Lord of Earned Success is the overall for this. So again, we move you from the Five of Swords, crowning you, to the Six of Swords. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a day of you loading up your boat and moving on over the water. No emotion in this, by the way. These are all thoughts, right? But the water is smooth sailing. Earned success. That means you've transmuted that Five of Swords. Like, you are out of it. We are done there. You got the other two. You realize, look, there's always going to be a yin with the yang, so stay in the middle, and that is what will guide your boat, and you're not going to go off course by this or that, and you've earned that. Those people in the Rider Waite, it's always, I feel like people feel like that's a sad card, but it's like, no, it's like, sometimes when we're in such, have you ever been in a job that it's like it's going down, you know it's going down, you should have quit a long time ago, but you hold on for whatever reason and things just get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And we think, you know, you're going to get punished by the universe for holding on too long. I should have, you know, your mind tells you all that shit. But when you finally do put in the notice, you don't get punished, you get rewarded. It's a thing off your chest. Now that that negative energy isn't there, you know the law of the vacuum, the universe can now dump something you actually do want. So you've earned your right to quit. You earned it every single day I was there. So, Six of Swords. As far as these 9 of Wands, 10 of Wands, 5 of Cups, you know, 5 of Swords, look, whatever you step out onto, there's no need to fear vulnerability. There's no need to fear. There's no need to be hesitant, because whatever this is, it's not going to happen again. In the past, it's not going to happen again. You've transmuted that enough. You've grown enough that if you do step out with this Princess of Wands energy and be like, look, these 7 Pentacles, the past is the past. Just forgive it. I had some intuitive thing come to me the other day. What did it say? It was like, there is no future for one that cannot forgive the past. 6 of Swords. Moving on. So load up your boat. That is what I have for you today, Cancer. Thank you for joining me. If you like this reading, like, click, and subscribe. Go ahead, leave a comment if you feel. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful October 2nd. I will see you tomorrow. Take care.